everyone, welcome back to this homestead in the making. For those of you who are new to our channel or don't know, we are a family of 9, and for about the last 9 years we have been endeavoring to build both a home and homestead on 20 acres here in the Ozarks of Missouri. When we purchased our land, there was basically nothing on it except for an old tattered barn, so it was a blank slate, and we have been working so hard ever since to build this place without debt and in such a way that it can be sustainable, that we can pass on to our children. Well, now we've got some older children. Our oldest is 19, next down is 17. They're old enough now that they're making some serious plans about their future homesteads. Even our 14-year-old is in serious planning mode. So it's really got me thinking a lot about our early days, and sometimes I ponder if I could go back and tell my past self all that my present self knows, you know, what would I have done differently? And obviously we can't ever go back in time, but in a sense our children are getting to go back in time because they are starting fresh right now with a whole foundation of knowledge and skills and learning that they've experienced over the last 9 years on our homestead. So although I don't think it's good to dwell on regrets or things that we see as failures, obviously things that we've experienced in the past help us in the future because they're learning experiences. And my goodness, this homestead is full of learning experiences, and we've put a ton of work and resources into this place. But I'm really excited now to see our children move forward and take what they've learned here. So I thought it'd be fun to ask the older children today, what are some things that they're going to do differently on their homesteads? And maybe what are some things that we've got right here and that they want to continue onto their homesteads. So we're going to talk to all 5 of our older children. The 2 youngest don't really understand all this yet. But all 5 of our oldest children have already expressed the desire to build their own homestead plots right here on our land. And so, yeah, willing, if we continue making videos here on YouTube, you're going to get to see a bit of their homesteads being built as well. So no, we can't go back in time, but yes, we can move forward with greater wisdom and understanding of how to make decisions going forward. Even if you're not a homesteader or not interested in homesteading, I hope this video will encourage you to never stop learning and take what you've learned from the past, apply it to your future so that you can move forward, making more wise choices. And let's be people who are excited about making things better. Be people who use those regrets to be victorious going forward. And so let's go ask the children some things that they've learned. Hey Joseph, how old are you?
8, basically 9.
Almost 9, yeah.
Yeah, like about a month away from 9.
So what's a big thing that you've learned about homesteading that you can apply when you start building your homestead in about 10 years?
Well, I've learned a lot about tree falling. Make sure that everyone stays safe.
Right? Daddy's fallen a lot of trees, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And you've also watched a lot of videos with tree falling, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to clear your land, you can be safe when you start falling those trees, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain one specific thing about tree falling that you've learned?
Well, if one tree falls on the other tree, that therefore it can make a widowmaker. And
yeah, and that can be really dangerous, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because then you never know when that tree is gonna fall.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, so you gotta be careful and always look ahead.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you like homestead life?
Yeah.
You also like tinkering and mechanics and blacksmithing, all kinds of stuff, huh?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Esther and I'm 11 years old.
Alright, so Esther, if you end up getting married, you may or may not stay on this homestead. But until you get married, or if you choose not to get married, you are totally welcome in our home, to stay in our home as long as you like. But you've always expressed a desire to have your own garden plot and maybe some of your own animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's something that you've learned that you want to maybe do a little bit differently when you have your own plots?
I want to more so start small and build my way up to a big garden plot instead of just starting out with a big, huge area that I can't really take care of.
Yes, that's very wise. Sometimes it can get really exciting and you want to go big and do a whole bunch, right? But then it's really challenging to maintain all that. So that's very wise to start small and manageable, huh? And so is there something about our garden now that you just love and you want to apply to your garden space?
Cobblestone pathways and lots of flowers.
Oh yes, I have to agree.
And I also really like this area with the pea gravel and rocks.
Yeah, this is a perennial area that we've just started putting pea gravel in. We need a lot more pea gravel, but it's actually keeping the weeds out pretty well, which has been nice. And the pea gravel doesn't harbor ticks like the wood chips do. All right, Nady, so after 9 years of experiencing homestead building, what is one thing that you'd like to do differently on your homestead, and one thing that you think has gone well that you'd like to do the same?
Well, something I think I'd do differently would be get more fencing and animal setups before we actually get the animals, like a shelter for them, have good fencing, the correct fencing, and having maybe even a better garden setup where I actually get plants and stuff like that.
Right. So you know now what kind of fencing is needed for the different animals, what kind of shelter is required, which we didn't know any of that starting out, huh?
Yeah.
We've never had animals. So that will be really helpful to have it set up before you even get the animals.
Something I think that we've done right is permanent pathways. The cement pathways with the rocks from the creek and stuff like that. That's really good. I think we've done that, and I want to do the same thing.
Yeah, it is a jungle here, huh? So you either got to have animals, machinery, or cement
Yeah.
to maintain the jungle, huh?
Hey guys, I'm Josh, and for those of you who don't know, I'm 17 years old. One thing I would like to do differently on my homestead, particularly relating to gardening, is starting with just a small space and getting it completely finished before I move on to the next space. Because with gardening, you have a tendency to get this area kind of done to the point where it can grow food, but it takes a lot of maintenance with watering and weeding and all that stuff. But if you fully finish that space, so you're not having to do all that maintenance, then you can fully move on to the next space without having to come back and maintenance this space too.
Right. Yeah, we started out with no watering systems, all by hand, and all of our walkways were just constantly full of weeds, huh?
Yeah.
Even though we tried wood chips and different measures. Right, so that's a really good point. Start small, easy to manage, and then just build from there. Cool.
And one thing I want to continue on my homestead is I want to continue to enjoy the land which Yah has given me. Take the time to look at His creation and look upon the good things that He's given me, and just enjoy all this beauty around us.
Yes, you do a good job of that. You're a very, very hard worker, and you can go, get a lot done, lot done really fast. But you take the time too. Often I'll be like, "Where's Josh?" "Oh, he's looking at ants in the garden." So you have a good balance, and that's a good thing to take on with you when you build your homestead.
Hey guys, I'm Caleb, and I'm 19 years old for those of you who don't know. So one thing that I think I would do differently on my own homestead is just from the start to do my best to have a place for everything, to keep stuff out of the weather, and to keep everything organized, and do my best to keep away from clutter and just all sorts of messes that take your time.
Yes. So anyone just starting out, if they have the resources to make a good sized storage shed with shelving and organizational units to keep stuff together and tidy, and yeah, place for everything in its place, would be a huge help.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing that we have done here that I'm going to implement on my own homestead is to not give up. So even when things go wrong or things fail, to just keep at it and keep going.
Right. And that's something that you just learn through the years, huh? That attitude and being able to be diligent and keep pressing on no matter what.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, thanks, Caleb.
You're welcome.
I also wanted to share real quick two of the biggest things that I feel like I personally have learned through this journey. One is never underestimate the value of a good fence line. We've had so many fencing issues, and we still have fencing issues that we're dealing with to this day. So my encouragement to anyone starting out homesteading is to find somebody in your area who has been homesteading for a long time and ask them all kinds of questions about all kinds of fencing. There are different types of fencing and fence setups for different purposes, from garden spaces to different kinds of animals. So here's a good example of poor fence planning. This is the right fence. It's a 5-foot tall horse fence for our garden, so nothing gets in here. But we've got this dead space between our board for our raised bed and the fence line, and we cannot get in there and get these weeds, so they just go crazy. They grow up along this bed, and then they drop their seed in our garden bed, and we have to constantly pull the weeds out of our garden bed. So we have to come up with a solution for this problem here. So fencing is incredibly important on the homestead, and you can't learn too much about it. And then the second thing, definitely I'm going to be more careful about what comes onto our homestead. A few winters back we had a really hard time finding quality hay, and we ended up just getting whatever we could find, and it was bad quality hay. We just had to feed it to our cows because they needed to eat, and it was full of this nasty pigweed that's super pokey. And now, because our pasture is uphill from all of our gardens and home space down here, we have just an endless wave of these pokey weeds coming at us all the time. So every day it's a chore. We all have to go out and pick a bunch of pokey weeds, throw them in the burn spot so they can be burned and the seeds can be burned, and hopefully if we keep at it, someday all the pokey weeds will be gone. But for now, that's a huge challenge. We also accepted a couple of chickens for free that we didn't know had leg mites. So we brought those onto our homestead, and they spread leg mites to all of our chickens. And leg mites are different than just regular mites. Mites are easy to get rid of. Good dust bath will get rid of them, but leg mites are incredibly difficult to get rid of and have been a huge problem for us. So if you ever accept a free chicken, make sure they don't have leg mites. We also got the wrong kind of cows when we first started out. It was a good deal. We had some encouragement from people that we thought had experience, and so we got these wild horned Dexter cows. They came onto our homestead and were just very challenging, a very hard introduction to cows for us. So anyway, be careful what you allow onto your homestead, from hay to animals, even information that you receive from people. Pray through these things and just be very careful, because whatever you bring in may end up staying with you for a very long time. Be picky about what you allow on your homestead, or what you allow into your life for that matter. Be careful what you listen to, what you watch, what you allow into your space, into your life, and into your heart. But on the flip side of that, be willing to embrace fully the wonderful things that the Father blesses you with. That's one of the good things that I will continue going forward in this life. Yah willing, taking the time to be fully present and thankful for all the good things that we have in this life. Sometimes the challenges and the hard labor and work of it all can just really sap all energy and steal joy, but there's so much to be thankful for. And I hope wherever you're at right now, you can be thankful as well for something and fully embrace that with joy. Well, I hope that was encouraging to you all. I feel so excited and thankful that our children have not become embittered with this way of life, as hard as it has been. And to the contrary of that, they want to continue this life, making their own little homestead plots right here on our land, which is amazing to me. They've learned so much and have so much to give, and really have encouraged me to continue to learn. So I hope that you will continue learning and growing and doing whatever you can with the resources you have to make things better and to be a blessing to other people in your life. Our dream has been to take this land that we've been blessed with and create a beautiful, sustainable place, not just for us, but for our children as well. And we hope that this journey has inspired you. Please share this video with any of your friends and family that might be interested. Thank you as always to our patrons who make these videos possible. And until next time, we pray blessings over you and yours. And whatever you do, do it with your whole heart. Hey Biddle, how old are you? Cool. How do you like homestead life?
There's chickens and geese.
You like the chickens and geese?
Yeah. And the turkeys, cows, dogs. Yeah, and the dogs.
You like the dogs?
Yeah. Not geese.
And you like the geese?
Yeah, and I like all of our animals to be cows.
Alright, you girls like the animals.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep homesteading?
I love horses. I love horses.
You love horses too?
Yeah.
Maybe
And cows.
maybe someday we'll get horses.
And cows. And horses.